Welcome back, movie fans. It's The Movie Date with Rob and Zach, a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be too smug about it.
You better get rid of that smug.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're discussing the Venom film.
Yes.
Sony Pictures.
Avi Arad, producer of the movie, known for caring deeply about the Spider-Man properties. Just kidding.
Not really.
No. Spider-Man 3 was his fault. I'm just saying. Sam Raimi, it's not your fault.
But before we delve into that, movie news?
I was just drinking water. Yes. Movie news.
Movie news.
News for movie. Not a lot of movie news.
We got some good reviews for A Star Is Born coming in. That's whatever.
Even if it gets 100%, I'm not going to see it.
Can we just watch the old ones?
I don't even want to watch those. I don't really care.
Good point.
I'm sure it's probably good. I'm sure those trailers are designed to make people like you and me roll our eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
So like when I see the trailer, I'm like, I bet you if I just watched it on my own, I'd be like, that was pretty good.
I mean, more than likely.
Good for Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
I mean, I might just take my lady friend to go see it.
Yes.
You know, it's probably a good date movie. You know, she'd get all googly-eyed for muscled up Dave Chappelle or something.
Yeah. What was the last musically like movie you saw? Not like a musical, but like about a musical person.
It would probably be no. The two of them I watched back to back. It was that James Brown biopic, Get
That's
On
good.
Up.
I like
that was a great movie. And then I watched the one that Andre 3000's in, All Is By My Side, I think it's what it's called.
I've never heard of
It's
it.
a Jimi Hendrix biopic. So Andre 3000 plays an uncanny resemblance to Jimi Hendrix.
Does he play the guitar or does he like overdub
He
it?
does.
Okay.
He does play the guitar. He actually had to, apparently he played guitar a little bit, but had to do it left-handed for the movie. And
Jimi Hendrix plays left.
right.
Yeah.
So I was like,
nice.
that's
Good.
impressive, Andre. That's
That
impressive.
is.
But yeah, movie news. Iron Fist got canceled.
Rob is sad. Rob's sad.
Zach sad.
Yeah. It was
But
good.
this,
You know what made me more sad is when I posted that on Facebook. You were the only one who was like sympathetic, and everyone else was like, "Good, it sucked, boo." And I was like, "You people are all not worthy."
it's just because
Well, you know what it was? They saw season 1, and then they just didn't see season 2. That's why. Which I guess would be fair.
But here's the thing: you can have more of what made that season. Like he's not like the character's not going anywhere. Those characters
I hope not,
are not going anywhere
because they all like.
It's a shared universe.
Yeah.
We're gonna see him some more. What I'm hopeful for, and this probably won't happen, but you know what my nerd little heart wants is Power Man Iron Fist show.
Yes. Just do it.
Or Daughters of the Dragon show. You know that would be dope too.
I would bet that show would be cheaper than doing 2 shows concurrently. Like if you combined the budgets roughly,
Yeah.
and like all the characters and the people that work
Maybe
on it.
add a couple episodes. Like
Yeah,
have like
like,
a
I bet
10
you-
episode order.
Yeah, I bet you it would be cost about as much, and they'd have a little more money because you're taking all the resources of 2 shows. So you could probably have some cooler, like more high budgety action scenes, more superpower stuff.
Right.
I'd like that. You know, they probably won't do it. Marvel, just don't get rid of him. He's just now starting to get good. The show's just now starting to get good, and I'm real sad now.
What I'm really sad about is we'll never get to see like that really cool stuff at the end, the golden guns, all that spoilers.
Yes,
Sorry.
Colleen has the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But she's in the same place as Daredevil and Luke Cage. What are they gonna do when like if a big event happens, she's just not gonna show up, even though she's there to protect
She's
New
going
York?
to show. Those characters are not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
hope
doubt
so.
that at all.
I just hope they fold them into Luke Cage or just make Luke Cage unofficially
Power Man
Luke
and
Cage and
Iron
Iron
Fist,
Fist, even if
yeah.
they just call it Luke Cage.
Right.
Yeah.
What I am excited for though,
Yeah, I know what you're going.
that new Glass trailer.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
It was good.
I felt like they probably showed us a bit too much of that movie though
I don't think
in the
so.
trailer.
I'm still like, I don't understand. I
I
still
feel
don't know
like
the
we
plot.
saw the whole movie play out in the trailer. That's what I'm worried about.
No, it didn't tell me anything I didn't already knew. Like I already knew at some point the Beast is going to meet Bruce Willis. And by the way, that was my favorite part of the trailer when it was like him and Bruce Willis and they were like throwing each other around. There's that shot of Mr. Glass in the hallway, and in the background you see the Beast throw a security guard into the wall, but like at like 50 miles an hour. And I was like, God, he's the one I'm most excited for. I want more James McAvoy.
Really, what I'm excited for is I'm excited because I'm pretty sure that the whole first quarter of that movie is just going to be all hospital stuff.
Yeah,
like them in the institution or whatever. That stuff really interests me. Like I love like the whole psychological aspect of those movies. Yeah. You know, and I really
and that lady doctor has a weird, sinister vibe.
Oh yeah,
she's gonna do some horrible experiments on them, and it's gonna I hope there's like a real bloody scene where the beast gets out and like rips someone's spine out through his face or something.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah, he's really good.
And it just seems to me like you see the part where like the 4 cheerleaders are all lined up, you know, and that to me that doesn't seem like something. You know, the beast or what's his name, Crumb would do. It seems like that's orchestrated by Glass himself more than likely.
Maybe. You think Glass is manipulating him and taking advantage of him?
Oh, of course, dude. He's pulling every string in this movie, and that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah. James McAvoy doesn't get enough credit for this. Like, I thought he was going to get nominated for an Oscar.
I really did too. Like,
I was like, he's like a bunch of performances, and they're all interesting and unique, and then nothing. Also, whenever he is the Beast, and
he's like a virtuoso actor, man.
Yeah, whenever he is the actual Beast in that movie or in these trailers and stuff, and he's all, and he's like all swolled up and jacked. I'm like, that dude really committed to this.
Yeah, because he was like a tiny dude.
Yeah, even in those movies, there are moments when just from his body language, he feels non-threatening and tiny. And then when the beast scenes happen and he's running like a maniac in the darkness at like a full sprint, you're just like, God, it's scary and it's creepy. And it's like, yeah, that trailer was dope. I'm super excited.
Super, super excited.
Yeah. I had one other thing. Oh, yeah. Kind of late movie news, I guess. James Gunn will be writing and maybe directing Suicide Squad 2.
Good.
Yes, maybe.
Good. Maybe make a decent DC movie.
There's plenty.
For Cripe's sake.
There's plenty of decent. You're just saying that to make me angry.
I'm excited for Shazam. I really am. Like, you know, after seeing that trailer, like, I hope it's going to be good.
Yeah. We've had 5 DC movies release, and I like or love 3 of them. And then 2 of them one's bad and one is the epitome of like mediocrity or genericness. Mm-hmm. So I'm still on board for everything. Even with all the drama that's going on, I'm still like, if they stick to their guns and they don't studio meddle, which they are notorious for doing, I'm stoked. And I'm stoked for the idea of a Suicide Squad 2, even if James Gunn isn't involved. And a lot of people are not too thrilled about this. Actually, because he was fired from. Do you know why he was let go from Disney and stuff?
Yeah, he made some tweets that people didn't agree with.
Yeah,
that he made years and years ago.
And a lot of people think it's a little. I don't
hypocritical, maybe.
No, I think they're kind of mad at Warner Brothers more or less for kind of taking advantage of it. But I was like, you know, he's not a.
Why wouldn't they though? That's like it's like Marvel, like getting Jeff Johns to start writing, you know, the Avengers or something like that. Would be
he's a director. He's out of work and he's looking for work, and we don't know if he's directing it yet. I didn't really, as much as I didn't like those tweets or anything like that, I didn't think that was a fireable offense necessarily.
Do you think there's going to be like an actor strike for that volume 3? Do you think Volume 3 is even going to happen at this point now?
Well, Dave Bautista has said he wants James Gunn back. And then as soon as they announced Suicide Squad 2, he said, hell yeah, sign me up.
Right.
So we might see him as like King Shark or somebody cool like that. I don't know. That'd be cool. The only thing I'm sad about is that it looks like Gavin O'Connor, who was announced to direct Suicide Squad 2, is not going to do it. And I was really stoked about that.
Here's the thing. Do we really even want a Suicide Squad 2?
Yes, I do. Even if I don't like Suicide Squad, I love the idea of the Suicide Squad. And you can tell a good story with them. It just wasn't that one.
Because let's be honest, like, isn't the Marvel version of Suicide Squad is like what, the Thunderbolts? Mm-hmm. It's got like Venom and all these others in there.
Sometimes.
Yep. And to be honest, like the Suicide Squad, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, seems like a better cast of villains.
I mean, I'd watch either one of those movies. If you watched, did you see Suicide Squad or would you just kind of avoid it?
I watched it and it was atrocious.
Yeah, the end of the movie.
Really, the worst part about it wasn't even like the terrible pacing or off jokes or any of that. It was.
I like all the characters. They're just some of them feel very thin.
The Harley Quinn Joker stuff made me want to throw up. Like, quite honestly.
I thought it was fine. I didn't love it.
Didn't.
I love
the only way I could see that, like, in my mind being okay, like, as a comic book fan, you know, like, here's my fanboy soapbox, like,
sure,
is if
this podcast exists for fanboy soapboxes.
As if they made it like that's not the OG Joker, like that's some kind of like Tim Drake fell into the Lazarus pit version of him or something.
That's just a fan theory. I don't believe that. People said it's Jason Todd because he like
that's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think Jason Todd is dead.
Dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he might come back as Red Hood, which I've always said that's what they should do for the Batman movie because that's one of the best Batman stories I've ever read.
Oh yeah.
It's so like emotionally harrowing. I'd love to just watch that or something. But we'll see what Matt Reeves chooses to do.
It's like that video game, the Arkham Knight, or not Arkham. Yeah. That's the one, the last one in the Arkham series.
Yeah,
it's
Arkham
like
Knight is Jason Todd.
It's not Red Hood. It's not Red Hood. And it's like, dude, it's totally fucking like Jason Todd.
It's the same thing. Like they just changed what he looked like.
Right.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like the way Suicide Squad ends left me very kind of hopeful for like, well, there's a great sequel to be told here. And
maybe.
Yeah, like I mean, one, I want to see El Diablo again because he's the best character of the whole movie. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that gets a real character arc, and he's the only one who like his performance is super understated and thoughtful. Plus, that part where he turns into a giant fiery skeleton and beats the shit out of Incubus was really dope. And I like that. I was like, that's some comic book nerdy shit. But yeah, you can tell one. I think they need to scale it back from world-ending stuff and make it like we're going on a heist and we're stealing a thing and killing folks.
Lower, not like necessarily lower the stakes, but reel it in a little bit.
Yeah,
make it more grounded. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'd like to see a Suicide
other movie news. Disney continues its streak of remaking all of its classic animated films in live action.
To what are you referring, Zachary?
The Aladdin teaser.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good.
What'd you think?
It's like literally shot for shot the animated movie though. Like from what I saw, I was like,
which is fine.
I don't understand it though. Like I'm sure it'll be a good movie or whatever, but I'm just like, if all you're gonna do is sit there and like literally remake your animated film in live action, what's the point?
The point is printing off money, Zach.
Yeah. But I think they could have just left well enough alone, you know.
Aladdin is the one.
If they do it to the Sword and the Stone, I might be pissed.
Oh, I want to see it now.
I don't.
You just did it.
Please don't.
Disney, if you're listening to this, get on it.
It literally, like, it'd be like remaking another Robin Hood movie. Have you seen the trailer for that dumb Robin Hood movie?
Yeah, it looks so
with
bad.
Jamie Foxx? It looks bad. Like, bad.
I can't tell if it's set.
I was like, who made these clothes? Who was in charge of the costumes in this movie?
I can't tell if it's set like for 600 years in the past or right now.
Right.
With swords or something. I
want to believe, like, it would be kind of cool if it were like some kind of alternate future or some kind of thing.
Yeah, but even
I could dig that. Maybe
I could, but then I would just be like, if it's alternate future, why is he using a bow and arrow?
Right. I don't
just
need
use a cool steampunky gun.
Is this like the freak like fifth? Is this like a deep future sequel to the Hunger Games? Like what's going on? Like.
Yeah, it looks real dumb, and those trailers have been coming out for a while, and I don't know when the movie comes out. So
I don't need another Robin Hood movie with another dude with a shitty British accent.
The only version of a Robin Hood movie I'd ever want to watch.
Men in Tights, bro.
Yes, but not like funny. Just do like those classic stories, him and the merry men in the woods, and make it kind of like jovial and fun. I'll watch that. Yeah.
Did you see the one with Russell Crowe?
Did you ever see the Errol? Yes, I did. It's not good.
Not good.
Yeah. Did you remember the Errol Flynn one from like the 50s? Just do that. But today.
Actually, the Disney animated Robin Hood. Pretty good.
Yeah. Do that
they
with
made
people.
King Richard a lion and shit.
Or with creatures. Do it Disney. Do like they're doing the Lion King. Just do Robin Hood with animal creatures. Or do people.
Yeah,
I don't
watch
even care.
That. I'd watch CG Lion King Richard.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I love The Sword in the Stone, though. I desperately want
That's my favorite Disney movie. If they mar that shit with the...
You'd have to get 3 different actors to play Wart, like in the movie.
No.
Because his voice always changes. But I love Merlin. He makes me laugh all the time. Yeah. Just the beginning where he gets tangled up with the chain and he has like an old man grouchy moment.
You can't recreate that magic, dude.
Yeah, that's probably true.
What actor are you going to get that's going to recreate that Merlin magic from that movie?
Wait, Wait a minute.
Don't say Mark Maron.
No,
Because I'm actually kind of tired of them putting him in stuff.
No, I wasn't going to say that at all. That was your brain was thinking that. I was like, like I don't know. Ian McKellen's not jovial enough. You need someone who will do it with a wink and a nod. But I can't think of anybody.
I could, but he's already gone.
Who?
Robin Williams, man. He could have done it.
As Merlin? Yeah, I could see that. He's kind of fat, though.
Put him in some platform shoes, make him a little bit taller.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, I like that movie. But no, I would say Aladdin out of all these movies is the one that I most want to see. Because it's the most one that you can actually do a movie. You can make big, crazy sets and cities and make it like a big world. As opposed to Cinderella was like, I felt like they rented, I didn't hate Cinderella, but it was like they rented a big French castle like today. And then they just put a bunch of shrubs and stuff and gave people old timey clothing. Like it's fine. But like, I was like, this is.
Did you watch Beauty and the Beast?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
I liked it. I didn't love it.
We need a Little Mermaid Aquaman crossover, buddy. That's what we need.
I liked Beauty and the Beast, but I didn't think it was great. But Aladdin is the one movie where I think they can surpass the original, even without Robin Williams, just because the story is more cinematic.
Who's doing the genie? Isn't it Will Smith?
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Yeah, he fights a giant snake at the end. It's a fun movie with cool
basilisk.
Yeah, it's a good. And this is the one that I want to see the most. I want to see Abu in the next trailer. I want to see Carpet, and I want like one line from the genie.
I want to see that the lamp dealer guy from like the very beginning.
Yes, played by Robin Williams. I was watching Aladdin last night just because of this. I got bored and I watched it. I love it.
All right. So that about does it for movie news. We might have some more next week. Now let's talk about this Venom business.
Let's talk about it. You're narrowing your eyes at me.
I got some things to say, Rob.
What were your expectations?
My expectations were not high.
Me neither.
After Sony's handling of those two amazing Spider-Man films, which I'm actually like a lot more than most people.
I can't believe it either. You said it last time and I was flabbergasted.
I don't think they're great, but my opinion of them is a lot higher than most people.
Fair enough. You give me shit for liking Man of Steel, so I will return the favor.
Right.
I mean, I will not return the favor because I'm a nice person. Keep going.
Anyway, so yeah, I wasn't ready for anything good. I don't even like Tom Hardy that much at all.
His American accent is always weirdly not American.
Bad.
I saw a hilarious there's a YouTuber I watch on YouTube called I Am That Robbie, and he did a funny review of Venom. And I'm going to co-opt some of his points because I felt some of the same things. But he does a funny, hilarious impression of Tom Hardy doing his American accent, and it's always like an English guy.
Is it Jersey?
Doing a way too thick Jersey accent.
Yeah, is it Jersey? Are you from Brooklyn? Like your voice, he raises it like five pitches.
I would like it better if it was just a normal American accent. Like he's not trying to be like, I'm from New Jersey. Hey, you fucking suck it following me.
Yeah,
you fucking yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting maybe some mishandling of the property. I was expecting maybe some decent to cool action set pieces, stuff like that. I was expecting shoehorned and ham-fisted love interest thing, and I got literally all of that.
Yeah.
What were you expecting, Rob?
I don't really have this deep. I feel like there's
you don't have an affinity for Spider-Man stories and characters.
No, for Venom as a character. Some people rave about him, and I was just like, I like Venom, but like I feel like there's a lot of crossover between people who like Deadpool and people who like Venom.
Yeah, like neckbeardy kind of fucking.
Yeah, and a lot of them are people who don't like superheroes, but they just like these ones because they're edgy and kind of irreverent and meta sometimes.
Right.
So they just sort of watch those two and they kind of snub their nose at the rest. And so because of that, I've always kind of been like lackluster on just the idea of Venom in the first place. But my expectations going into this, I saw the first trailer and I was like, they seemed like the very first one where you don't even see Venom. At the very end, he has a little seizure in the thing, and then that's all that you see.
I also think this movie suffers from being rated PG-13. It should have been an R, and they should have went further with it.
We can get into that. Yeah. They should have gone further with a lot of things, but anyway. But yeah, my expectations were just, when I saw that first trailer, I was like, oh, like there's nothing in it that looks like a superhero movie would look. So like it kind of feels Jason Bourne-y, and I was like, just keep it with the tone. And then when Venom shows up, then in the second trailer, I was like, I don't know what this is going to look like. And I see Venom at the very end. I was like, oh, well, Venom looks pretty dope.
He does.
I can't fault him for that. And then at the end of the third trailer, I saw the line where he's like,
the movie is visually great. I'm not taking that away from it.
And then at the end of the third trailer, this is where when I got to my peak, when I was like, it seems like they got the tone of Venom as a character right. Because when he's talking to that dude and he's like, lungs, pancreas, so many snacks. And I was like,
get that from the trailer.
Yeah. But then, so my expectations were cautiously optimistic, and I was like, this could be fun. It's from the guys at Sony and Avi Arad.
Yeah, I'll take that cautiously optimistic.
But I was like, Ruben Fleischer's doing it, and he did Zombieland, which I like. So I was like, I'm weighing all these different things, and I kind of came into the movie and out of the movie, sort of like I came into the movie cautiously optimistic, and I left the movie still kind of cautiously optimistic, but like I didn't leave like jumping around about it. So I guess we can go ahead and get into what did we think. I want to hear what you thought first.
I thought that this movie felt like it had 4 different directors on it. I felt like each act of the movie was tonally completely different.
I actually really agree with that. I was about to say, or did you just feel like there's clashing tones all over the place? And I was like, yeah, then you said it.
Here's the thing. Like, aside from like I didn't even mind the ham-fisted love interest stuff in the beginning of the movie.
I would argue that the real love interest is Eddie Brock and Venom.
Right. Which is, well, I'll get to that.
The greatest romantic comedy.
I would say that the first third of this movie is pretty good. It hits the right tone.
I would say that's true, but I also think it takes so long getting going.
Sure.
Where we don't get enough time of all the Venom-y stuff. Because we spent 30 minutes of him.
A lot of it's really comic book accurate. In the first like third of the movie, I thought that was really good. It's straight from like Venom Lethal Protector, which I even have a couple of those.
Yeah, I bet you Todd McFarlane probably liked this movie for the most part.
I doubt he did. I bet you he was like, "What the fuck?" Especially towards the end. Like,
if it was R-rated, maybe he would probably like it. I bet you he would.
Speaking of Todd McFarlane, we forgot that in movie news. He says his next Spawn movie, the one with Jamie Foxx that he's making, he wants babies to cry or whatever. He wants it to be like so hard R that it's like,
dear Todd McFarlane, show me you can make a movie first, and then I'll get excited. Spawn is a better action figure than he is a movie so far. So I'm willing to let Todd
I love Todd McFarlane, but
I do
that
too.
was funny.
I don't hate Todd McFarlane. I just think that I want him to prove that he's not all talk, because he's been a lot of talk. Like, as soon as Deadpool came out, I'm gonna do my Spawn movie, I own the rights, and I'm gonna direct it, and it's gonna be R. It seems like he's like hopping on this train, and he's a perfectly great comic book artist writer.
He's not even that great of an artist. He just like, I'll take it from that documentary.
Well, he's good enough to have made his own style that people recognize.
Right. So he took a lot of stuff and made it sexy.
Yeah. He's the most 90s artist I've ever seen ever.
Very much.
Even when I watch his stuff today, I'm like,
those capes, bro. Those fucking capes. Boy, can he draw a cape.
Yeah, he was the pinnacle of animated red capes till Man of Steel came out, and Zack Snyder did his CGI capes.
All right, so back to Venom. Like, what I thought about the movie, it was just too much of too many different things.
And also, for me, I agree with that. Not enough of a lot of things at the same time.
Right.
I feel like different emphases are placed on the wrong parts of what would have made the movie interesting.
It suffered from Suicide Squad syndrome in my mind. Like, it didn't know what the fuck it wanted to be.
Yeah. Well, Suicide...
and again, I think it all comes down to that rating. Like, what they could and could not really get away with.
Suicide Squad was quite literally changed, though. They literally they had reshoots to change parts of the tone of the movie, which David Ayer says, well, it wasn't really to do that, but I don't know if I agree with him. But
Well, like
this
you get
movie-
really cool moments
yeah, this
that
movie
I'm like,
this movie didn't have reshoots, so this is apparently what Ruben Fleischer wanted to do.
you get really cool, like with the lungs, pancreas, like all that. Like I love the fact that they as a character they make Venom like you get the hunger aspect of it. You know, that part was handled well. I thought oftentimes pretty funny, like when he downs the whole thing of tater tots and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll give you this. I liked pretty much everything up until everything after the bike chase sequence.
Yeah.
And then it all went down fucking hill.
I don't disagree with that, but I will say that consistently throughout the movie, Tom Hardy and Venom are the best parts. Like
I would say
his relationship with Venom.
No, I don't like it. I think it's the worst parts.
Really? Okay.
Venom is not supposed to be some like cute buddy thing.
Maybe.
Like, the Venom symbiote is a malevolent fucking thing, and it's like Eddie Brock is the one who wrangles it, controls it. You know?
But it is a malevolent thing.
Like the part where he's all like, "I was a loser too," like that shit's dumb.
I like that.
And not relevant to that character whatsoever.
I mean, it's not relevant to the comic books, but like this is a movie, so they're gonna make changes.
I felt like they were trying to make it for as young of an
PG-13.
audience as they possibly could.
I think that's probably true.
And that bothered me.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probably true. That reeks of Avi Arad because that's what he likes to do. But I mean, first of all, Venom like eats people.
They made Venom cute.
That's pretty malevolent.
They made him cute.
Malevolent. You said malevolent. Now I'm doing it. Malevolent. I think that's.
They made him cute, Rob.
I didn't feel that.
They did.
But here's the thing: if we have a movie where it's him and Eddie Brock and they don't reach some sort of kind of thing that they like each other and they're better with each other than without each other, then what's the point of the movie? So I feel like it doesn't work without like all the parts that I liked in this movie were like the parts where Venom is gnawing inside of his head talking to him. That's my favorite stuff. That's the stuff that's the most interesting and held my attention. And the stuff that I liked the least was his girlfriend.
I mean, sure, you can do that relationship, but you don't have to make the banter like all cute and pander to the people who want joke after joke after joke and they're fucking superhero. I mean, you don't have to have a superhero movie.
Sure, I would have liked
that's just a laugh riot the whole damn time.
Yeah, I would have liked
I'm kind of sick of it. Like that may be the neck beardy edgy guy in me, but I'm fucking tired of it.
No, the neck beardy edgy guys love the funny stuff. That's the whole thing.
I don't like it. I think you could have made a dark, gritty fucking, Venom movie.
I do too, and I think that Ruben Fleischer has that in him, and Avi Arad was like, no. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. This is a slight spoiler, but anyone who's seen the trailers can.
Let's just go ahead and get into them.
You don't care?
Yeah, let's just go.
Well, let's wrap it up about what we think. Should people see it or whatever.
Sure. I think if you're, especially if you're a Spidey fan, if you're an anti-hero fan, go see this movie. It's not the worst.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It's not as bad as the Venom we get in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like they more or less have struck the right tone for how you would do a PG-13 Venom movie, and we can argue about whether or not you should do a PG-13 Venom movie, but if you do one, this is the best it'll probably be.
Sure.
Actually, I take that back. It's not the best it could probably be. But I think as far as the tone of the movie and the characterizations of Eddie Brock and Venom, I feel like they're right for what that it would be, if that makes any sense.
I think we'll just have to disagree a little bit.
I didn't. Well, when we get into spoilers, I can make my case for it. But I don't necessarily think this is a good movie. I think it's the best unintentional romantic comedy of all time. And if you can take your like. I try really hard, especially when I see a movie that I know a lot about the IP, whether it's like comic books or anything. I try really hard to let myself not judge it by that source material, because I say, just like a comic book writer coming in to write a new version of a character, like Superman or Spider-Man or whoever, they don't want to sit there and have to do the same thing that somebody else did before them. So I give them the leeway to tell whatever they want to do. And I say, well, that's not my Superman. Like, I don't subscribe to that argument. I just I try really hard to just judge it for what it is. And I said, if this wasn't called Venom, but it was called Black Toxic Man, would I like the movie? And I sort of judge it from there. And then the extra comic book stuff is icing on the cake. I don't think this is a good movie, but I think everyone in the movie has a lot of fun. I don't think Tom Hardy's ever had as much fun
Probably not.
in this movie.
You can tell he was really
in that
digging it.
crazy restaurant scene where he's
Oh yeah, he
what
loved
is-
that shit.
Yeah, and I hope I didn't really walk out of this movie like, oh, that's great. Oh, you guys critics don't know what they're talking about. The critics are probably right on this one. It's fine.
I think a lot of where I'm coming from is like having a more like a.
Oh, and I am excited for a sequel. Strangely enough,
I'm excited to see. I'm hopefully excited to see what they'll do with it because you can't do a Maximum Carnage storyline without
with
it
that,
being
we're getting into
rated
spoilers.
R.
And with that, so to wrap that up, I think you should see it if you thought it looked interesting. Because if you thought it looked interesting, there might be something there for you. But I would say
If you're skeptical about it already,
you probably shouldn't see it.
yeah, don't.
Yeah. Or see it just so that you can have an opinion on it. But I don't think it's a great movie or a good movie. I think it's right on the edge of okay. I think people calling it a disaster are almost reading too much into it. This movie don't deserve enough attention.
No, it's not a disaster. It suffers from a lot of the same problems a lot of other superhero based movies have suffered from in the last like 5-6 years.
It's very formulaic. You can see the formula on the wall.
Oh yeah,
the whole thing. So let's go ahead and get into spoilers. I am excited for the sequel. I am excited as Woody Harrelson is.
I'm
Carnage.
excited to see Woody Harrelson as Carnage too.
And I knew
what's up with that wig.
I thought it was great. I love creepy Ronald McDonald. Like I thought it was great. I am excited to see that. I was 100% certain that's what we were going to get for the sequel.
Oh yeah,
because of every person in
what
the
about
world.
that second post-credit scene? We got to see a bunch of footage from that.
There was another post-credit
Yeah,
scene?
but
I didn't stay for that.
It said it was like ... in another universe, and then it showed like 10 minutes from Into the Spider-Verse.
Did it really?
Yeah,
Or
it was
you
pretty
just
dope.
fucking with me right
no,
now?
I'm not.
God damn
Go
it.
look it up on YouTube.
I didn't stay for that. I thought surely they're just going to do one and that's it. Carnage. God damn it.
And I was like jumping on the edge of my seat for a second because I was like ... in another universe. Is this Spider-Man tie-in? Is this how they're going to tie it into Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
Yeah.
No, but
Do you think this would work though? If they did choose to tie it in?
well, here's the thing. They did a couple of weird references, like the J. Jonah Jameson's son with being the astronaut. That's very comic book accurate or whatever.
I forgot about that.
And then they mentioned like the incident or like they mentioned that thing in New York, which that could be anything from just him like getting fired from the Bugle or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I feel like if Marvel can't find a way to bring Venom and Spider-Man together, I'll be fine, but the writing's on the wall. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Send Venom to fucking New York to investigate a thing, and then put him up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man. They fight for a little bit, and then they have begrudging respect for each other and leave each other alone. I'm saying not that they should make that movie, but if you're trying to print off money, as Marvel is fond of, that movie writes itself.
Sure.
Anyway, but I liked seeing Woody Harrelson, and I was like, I knew he was in the movie, and everyone was rumored, is he going to be Carnage? And I was like, of course he's going to be Carnage. Look at his face; he looks like bald Carnage. So I'm excited to see that. I want to get into the tonal aspect you brought up earlier. You said this movie has a bunch of tones, all fighting going at all times.
Like, okay, there's parts of it where it's like dark thriller kind of
Horror
stuff. And that was like, yeah. And then it goes into like this campy, fucking rom-com-y stuff. And then
I would argue the first 20 minutes of the movie are badly written. Not from a dialogue perspective, but like when you're sitting down and writing that screenplay, he interviews the guy from the Life Foundation and his
guy they got to play is the guy from the Life Foundation. Like, you could have cast someone way better.
Yeah, or you could have just rewritten the role to where it wasn't so
it was so
ham-fisted.
Dry, and like I get that they were trying to make him as like a character who is soft-spoken and stuff, and then like eventually his dark side comes out or whatever, but it was just like bad.
Yeah, he still stays. His personality still stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't. I didn't care for that hardly at all. But what was I saying? The horror stuff. I felt like they pulled their punches with the horror stuff when they shouldn't have. Yep. When they trap the guy in the room with the other symbiote and it goes into his body and stuff, I didn't feel enough of that. Like, that was fucked up. Like, I didn't feel enough of that. Right. And I feel like it's sort of like what you're saying. They're trying to give it a horror vibe without scaring kids who they can sell Venom t-shirts to.
Right.
And I don't. You're wearing one right now, so for the listeners, that was unintentional. But
I am. It's a pretty cool one too.
Yeah. But I'm like, so when it goes inside of his body and like he dies and it goes out of him, I would have liked if it was like that. You ever see that movie Life?
Yeah.
With Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. There's some really horrible ways people die in that movie. And I wanted that. There's a part where it goes down Ryan Reynolds, spoilers for Life.
I mean,
it goes down his throat and kills him. I would have liked that, where it goes like, and it goes down him and like.
I mean, I got another problem with that. If you're going to introduce like multiple symbiotes at once, and have the Life Foundation there and have that San Francisco compound and stuff, and you're gonna try to be comic book accurate, why not go full blown? Like you could have, like his right hand scientist who brings Eddie Brock to the lab in the first place.
She's a lady Venom at some point.
No,
she isn't.
No, that's his girlfriend who gets actual Venom on her and then gives it back to Eddie Brock.
Oh yeah, that's right.
See, I was like, they could have had Riot and Scream and all of the other symbiotes.
Well, I was talking about, like, I thought one of the scientists in the movie, this could be an Easter egg I could be wrong about because I don't know that much about him, but there's like, there's a yellow symbiote and it's a lady.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Okay.
I think that's Scream, if I'm not mistaken.
Also, why do they only have 3?
I literally have this comic book at home, Rob. I can give it to you so you can see the source material.
Yeah. Why do they only have 3 symbiotes? And one of them's gone by the end of the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It feels like you should have like 16.
Well, or
just to pad your own pocket for sequels,
or at least 5,
or something.
It seemed like a wasted opportunity at some, at least just like.
It goes back to what I was saying,
like
about,
some Easter eggy kind of stuff.
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying about like it's the writing is poorly handled. By the way, this is a script written by 3 people, so you can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
I said the first 25 minutes of this movie feel unnecessary. Or could have been handled in a much smoother way that gets the plot moving quicker.
Right.
So at the beginning of the movie, he interviews Carlton Drake, I think his name was, whatever. Guy from the Life Foundation.
Just call him Drake.
Yeah. He's the bad guy. And he's like, your boss is a horrible person. I'm going to interview him and I'm going to hold his feet to the fire. And then he does it. And his girlfriend and them, she loses her job. She blames him for it. And then it goes like 8 months later and he's eating Chinese food in a 1-bedroom apartment because life sucks. And he's we see like the little other symbiote from the spacecraft is slowly working its way over 8 months, by the way. You think it could have gotten there a lot faster.
Right.
To San Francisco or whatever. And all that stuff feels unnecessary. Like you don't need to have him interview.
Like this whole movie could have taken place in the span of one day.
Yeah. And you don't,
two.
You don't need to like go 8 months later to when they're not together anymore and it's 8 months. Just like the next day, they're not together. Like it's unnecessary. Put them in an apartment and just say like they're not together. We can follow the plot. They're not together anymore. But a long passage of time where virtually nothing happens.
I was also jarred a little bit by the inclusion of Bobby Fish from Luke Cage being his boss.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Roy Cephas Jones.
I was like, way to dip in the ink, man. Yeah. That totally took me out of it for a minute.
That actor just died, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he was gonna be the wizard from Shazam, and then they cast dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, Jaimon Hunsu or whatever. It was beside the point. But yeah, he just passed away. It was very sad. But yeah. But I felt like that part was.
He was a great actor.
Yeah, and I felt that because the whole beginning is unnecessary, it makes the movie feel both too long and too short at the same time. Because we spend a lot of bullshit watching him going, feel sad and live in a room across from a Metallica metalhead or something. And I feel like, how you could have done this movie? Like
just started him off without the girlfriend or something.
Or maybe he has it, but like Spider-Man 3 where the symbiote crashes on the planet with that planes. One goes to the little girl and it gets to Carlton Drake, and one just runs off anywhere and it infects him. In like the first 5 minutes. And then maybe like you slowly bring in the aspect that something's wrong with him. That way you get to the Venom stuff quicker and we can have a lot more fun with that. But I feel like they miss a big opportunity because like I said, it's just like it's a big formula. There's an evil organization and we have to spend 30 minutes of the movie setting stuff up.
Or how about this? They could have even tied it in closer and went ahead and just done like some kind of like Spider-Man thing, because that's how Eddie Brock really gets the symbiote, is he gets it from Spider-Man.
They ring the bell thing and it falls onto him.
So like that shit's super accurate in Spider-Man 3, but I don't know.
I just feel like from a screenwriting point, they really piss a lot of time away doing nothing.
Sure.
And when you said the first like third of the movie was what you liked the most, I was like, oh God, it felt so long to me. And like I don't like the action stuff. The action stuff's
one of the
good.
parts I liked the best was when he escapes from the compound and that chase through the woods. That was tonally great.
Yeah, and when he like
I loved that stuff.
There's a part where he like knocks a door off its hinges and he doesn't even stop. That was a weird thing to me too. He doesn't stop and go, "What the? How did I do that?"
Well, he does kind of, but not really.
There's the part where he jumps over the fence and climbs up the trees and stuff. That was all great. I want to get to that sooner. And
like the cinematography of that chase, like the light filtering through the woods and that weird greenish hue, the way that's done is like great.
I would argue you don't need his, even though I think it's a nice emotional thing, kind of. I don't think you need his homeless friend to give him the thing. I think you can just start the movie where he gets the thing and they track him down somehow and they're, trying to kill him, and then they bring him in, and they like the way you should do the first act of this movie is he gets the thing in the first 5 minutes. They're tracking down the energy signature or whatever, and then they find him at his work or whatever, and they go, "We need you to come with us, Department of blah blah," and then they pull him into an interrogation room, and then the Venom starts to start whispering in his ear, like, "Don't trust that guy, twist that guy's head off. Get out of here right now. They're bringing a thing and a needle." And then like Venom hijacks the body and goes, "We're getting the fuck out of here." And then you get like a cool R-rated prison breaky scene, which happens the same way as the one we saw in the movie. That's way more effective, and you save time for other stuff later on in the movie. I feel like we get to Venom just a little too late, and we don't get enough time for him to really feel like the relationship between him and Eddie. Even though I like those parts of the movie, like I said earlier, we don't get enough of that. I don't feel like we get enough to justify them being like, we're best friends forever now.
I just feel like they personified the character of Venom, not Eddie Brock, because I think he does a decent job in playing an Eddie Brock, aside from that accent. But like the character of Venom itself, I feel like is mishandled.
Sure.
What
did you want more of from Venom?
A fucking malicious, fucking evil, fucking symbiote, man.
I think he's a little bit of that.
No. Not enough.
Maybe not enough. I'll give it that. I don't know.
It's not supposed to be, I was a loser on my planet. Like that shit's dumb.
I liked it.
It's dumb.
I like that it's an unintentional romantic comedy. He even kisses Venom in the movie.
Anyway. If you say so, Rob.
No, I didn't. I don't think it's great, but I think it's like it's unintentional.
Venom is supposed to be like the scariest motherfucker in like Spider-Man's entire rogues gallery, right?
But there's some parts of this movie where I was like, if I was a human being and I saw that, that'd be very scary. Like the part where
Venom is supposed to be scary to the host. Like Brock's supposed to be like fucking, constantly on edge with this thing,
Sure. I mean,
they're not supposed to be buddies.
Like, I guess I'm getting, I guess my point from earlier is sort of starting to materialize when I'm saying like, I don't know a lot about him from the comic books. Like, I'm not a big Venom-y guy. So because of that...
Like, it's a fanboy soapbox, and I get that.
Sure.
I know we should be taking this as the movie.
But I know enough about Venom to know that, like, an R-rated, more horror-ish movie is what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And we still don't get that. I thought that but I do think, like, a lot of the action-y stuff is sort of kind of right where I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I mean, that bike chase was, like, solid. I loved it. It was great.
Did you feel like those drones were like weird?
The drones were kind of like, why would you kamikaze like the drones? Why not give the drones guns or something? Like, those drones, all they did was just kamikaze into shit.
Yeah, and I felt like it was like, I said this about Ready Player One too. Like it's weird that the police never show up for a lot of these. Like you're a rogue organization with your own private little army with drones that blow up, fire and stuff, and the police are like, that's fine. They're allowed to do that. It's just weird. I think now that Venom, I think that it is entirely possible that the sequel will be better than this movie.
I hope so.
They've already got it set up and they can spend way more time on just the Venom-y stuff. And like he's already Venom and we can bring it into contact and hopefully we can make it R-rated because Carnage is literally a serial killer.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse not to make that R. If anything, you should
I want to see some blood, man.
Yeah. Did you like the part where Eddie Brock breaks a bunch of bones and then Venom fixes him?
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
that.
I like that.
Like that.
I want to talk good. Let's talk about like good Venom stuff, and then we can talk
Good Venom stuff. I liked it when he scaled that wall, scaled the skyscraper, all like gnarly looking. Like I said, there's a lot of like set pieces and stuff and action scenes in the movie and visual stuff that I thought were great, that I liked.
Yeah,
it's really all about characterization that I had an issue with.
That's fair, and I didn't love the characterization that much either. I like when he's on top of the building and Venom goes jump, and then it cuts and he's just hitting the elevator button and he goes pussy, and I was like, that's Venom's humor, right?
No, that was fun. That was a joke that I felt like was in its right place at a good time, and didn't feel like it shifted the fucking tone of the movie into a comedy.
It's not a joke.
Right.
Venom says jump, and then the humor comes from the character saying, I don't want to do that. I'm scared. And he goes over and hits the button. That's why I say, like, jokes, I'm not anti-jokes. Jokes make you laugh, which release endorphins in your brain, which make you feel happy or whatever. But, like, I don't like jokes for the sake of, like, you can tell the screenwriter was like, we need a joke here because that's what the formula says.
Right.
Like, I'd rather just have jokes come from the situation.
Like, that's what I felt like. All those conversations, like, between Eddie and the symbiote, like, especially when they're in the car concerning his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I felt like that shit.
I like her.
Like, that shit was punched up as hell.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not in the OG script. Sure.
And to be fair, and this is a script written by 3 people, so I'm sure at some point there was like, there's a rewrite happening.
They had a punch-up guy for sure. Yeah. I know it.
But I still like a lot of this. I think the best character stuff, because it's kind of the only character stuff, is the stuff between Eddie and Venom. And I think the reason why, even not talking from the fanboy soapbox, because I don't know a lot about him, I think I liked it is because, I like that Venom is this weird, blunt creature of id, and then he just sort of follows his stomach wherever he goes. And when he says to like Eddie or whatever, like, I was a loser on my planet because you're a big loser too. I like that he's just like, he has no filter and stuff, because that's just stuff that I thought was interesting and fun. Did you like talking about the last action scene? Because I bet you some people are not going to like it. Did you like when he's fighting, what's the big gray one called? Riot?
Right,
yeah. He's fighting him, and there's like a bunch of cool CGI effects where they're trying to rip the symbiotes off of each other and stuff. Did you like that, or did you think it was 2008-ish?
Thought it was all right.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you said that.
I didn't think it was good or bad. I just was like, I
feel like the problem when you have two big...
That's the big climactic fight at the end.
Yeah. I thought the space shuttle was not a good idea.
I think it worked to service the fact that, that's one of the things that can destroy the symbiote is a bunch of flame and fire and shit. Like, so that I felt like those are pretty good stakes. Yeah, and why not make it like a launch you got to stop or something like that was fine.
Sure, fair enough. It felt plot devicey because it like
like you just said,
it literally is.
It was, but I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I like that you're gonna probably. I'm gonna predict that you hated this. I like that he protects Eddie as they go down. As the fire hits him, he goes goodbye, Eddie, and he kind of spreads out and stops it from hitting him. I like that.
You could have taken out the words. I was fine with them protecting him. You could have taken out the words goodbye, Eddie.
You got to acknowledge it in some way, because like otherwise there's like a big black thing that happens. And you're like, what happened there? So I feel like here's the thing. I feel like the reason I'm edging on, like, when it comes to Eddie and Venom, the reason I'm edging on positive towards that, not that I don't think it's great. I think it's the least bad thing in the movie.
Okay, fair enough.
It's because you have to have a reasoning to why they want to be together, because this is not evil.
Simple. The Venom gives him power, and he enables the symbiote to continue its nourishment.
Okay, so you want tragic hero then, where he's like, like he's Macbeth or something. He gets addicted to the power.
Sure, that's what it is.
Fair.
In the comics.
That's fair enough. But I mean, is there a... You might not be able to answer this. That's fine. Is there a precedent?
It's the hunger, man. That's what drives the symbiote.
Right. I also like the fact that Venom may or may not have been eating his insides when he couldn't get food.
I liked that part.
Yeah. Which that felt kind of evil to me. So I was saying there's some evilish stuff in there. I like that that movie ends with him eating a man's face. That's pretty cool. I also love the fact that that's Tom Hardy's voice. Whenever you hear Venom, that's Tom Hardy's voice with a bunch of gobbledygook on it. Is there precedent for in the comic books or anything for Eddie Brock not being like a mean jerk who hates Spider-Man? Because it feels like they go out of their way to make this one kind of a somewhat okay person.
Do they make him into like
I honestly don't know. Like,
Eddie Brock is a jerk, you know, he's a fucking dick in the comics, you know, and in fact, like, I like the fact that I like the casting of Hardy as him because he's kind of like a stocky fucking buff dude.
Yeah, he looks like his name would be Eddie Brock.
Right. But like I said, it's the deviations from the characterizations of the source material that I have an issue with.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Brock is, you know, someone who is just, he becomes, once he gets the symbiote, he becomes fucking like enriched with power, and he fucking just drinks it in. That's all he fucking cares about, you know? And so
we get
the fact that they're taking cues from like the later incarnations of Venom, like when Flash Thompson gets a hold of the suit and does become like a
kind of
more sort of a hero kind of guy, rather than, you know, someone who might do heroic things just to serve himself or whatever. I don't know. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, that makes me more nervous for the sequel, though.
I don't want to see a goody two shoes Eddie Brock. I don't.
Yeah, I feel like if you do that, because here's the thing: unless he becomes like a legit superhero, you're gonna have to come up with a reason to bring him into contact with.
Like,
Carnage.
I like the fact that in the beginning they painted him as like a reporter who wasn't really in it to do the right thing. He was in it to get the story. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, his motivations, like he could have been like uncovering like whatever he was uncovering, but it was mostly for himself to like spurn and spawn his own fame. He was more worried about his own fame than he was like the shit that was actually going on in the world.
There's parts in the movie where he actually kind of like he does stuff that
he seems a little more selfish in the earlier parts of the movie, and I liked that.
Yeah, and he literally like, kind of goes out of his way to like. There's like those conversations with his boss or whatever where he's going out of his way and he's a pain in everyone's ass.
Hyper ego.
Yeah, but you can tell he's not doing it for like he'll say it's for a self-serving reason because like I'm uncovering a war crime in Syria or something, but really it's like, well, you're gonna get us in trouble and you're gonna get our funding cut, which means we'll be able to cover less stories, which means you're working against your own professed motives. Or
he's
whatever.
just doing what he wants. Ultimately,
and I would have liked more of that. I feel like the movie. I feel like the woman, what's her name? Michelle Kerrigan? I can't remember her name. Carrie Mulligan? I can't remember. His lady. I feel like she's unnecessary. And I feel like her new boyfriend is even more unnecessary. I feel like what we should have had is like, that like the scene where he goes into, when he tracks her down or whatever in the restaurant and he eats like the lobster or whatever. I feel like that could have happened without them. Like every scene she's in, I feel like could the scene work without her even there? And the answer is usually yes. So I thought that was unfortunate. And I don't like saying that because without her, there's no other real women characters in here. I did like her as like women Venom for a second, like just as like a cool. I don't even know if it is an Easter egg, but I thought it was.
I'm sure it was. That was like their Easter eggy idea of doing Scream or whatever, but it's the wrong symbiote.
Okay, I want to talk more about the things that, because you're the bigger authority on this. The bigger the diversions from the character. I don't know if that's the right word. You said that they're getting away from the character too much and it ruins parts of it for you. I want to talk about like just some specifics that you thought that was really painfully obvious, or maybe alternatives that you would have liked to have seen.
Oh,
whether they're actiony stuff or like just like I would have liked to like. This just shows back to Avi Arad because like all those death scenes and stuff. There's a part where one of the lady Venoms earlier in the movie cuts a guy's throat with a symbiote sword thingy, and you don't really see any blood, and I just feel like this movie feels sanitized. It feels like the edges are sanded off. And just enough to like, why can't Venom, like, this is kind of off topic, there's a comic book I read where the Sentry takes Carnage into space and rips him in half. I feel like we need to get to the point where we can observe that, like, if someone with super strength hits you, your body turns
Crumbles
into liquid,
like a French fry.
Yeah, it turns into liquid. Like, and I want to get to the point where Venom can eat a guy's head off, and we can see a headless corpse, and not be like, "What about the
Or
children?"
you can suck out the pancreas.
Yes, that would have been good. That's how you do a great horror moment. Like some guy, he's taking out some criminal thugs or whatever, and you hear like some gross slurpy sounds in like a dark alley, and he shines his light. You see Venom's big tongue moving around inside of his body or something. Like that would have been cool.
I wanted to see more of like, and we got to see that a little bit of like Brock being genuinely just afraid of Venom.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not enough though. It's usually like, it's not Venom. It's like, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
Which I don't think is like, hopefully if they do the next movie right, we can get to a point where like we can start to question Venom's motives. Like what's his end game? Stay here forever? Just live in
like that point where he's like, I decided to stay here because I changed my mind because of you, Eddie. Like that's dumb.
Yeah. What would you have liked?
Venom is a villain and Eddie Brock is a tragic victim. That's what it is. And that's not the relationship I saw.
I could dig that. Yeah. I would have liked that more. If it was like almost like at the end of District 9 when the dude's turning into an alien and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? Like, oh, he's going to be completely consumed. That would have been, make you feel bad, but also you get some cool big symbiote fight stuff, I guess. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from now a lot more on that one.
And it's still not even coming from like a structure of the movie stand. It's like I get it. I'm standing on my fucking fan box right now.
That's fine. That's what it's for.
That's why we need to do some more of these that aren't superhero movies, Rob. I'm getting
sure.
I can't wait for Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh, good God, I need a break.
Or Halloween. We got Halloween coming up. Is it next week?
I think
it's actually week. Halloween.
I don't know.
I hope it's soon. I want to see.
That's more your forte too, though.
Not really. I don't even like the Halloween movies, but this one.
I think I've seen like half of one.
Yeah, this one seems to be really good though. So people seem to be really stoked for it. So I'm kind of stoked for it. And plus, like, I want to get to a point where like Michael Myers has always seemed completely uninteresting to me as a bad guy because he's just a big guy in a mask. And some people might be like, well, that's the genius of it. He's like the Batman of horror killers. I'm like, but I like that Freddy Krueger can go into your dreams.
Yeah.
There's really cool stuff to do there. Or that Jason can never really be killed. Like, they have supernatural stuff.
Oh, man, I saw this Entertainment Weekly thing today.
Aquaman?
No, and it was this dude talking to Jamie Lee Curtis, and he was like, so do you still get people trying to scare you with hockey masks on? And Curtis just gives him this look like, you idiot. Like, what movie are we talking about again? Like, it's hilarious.
That sounds like something she'd say. I still think it's funny that her and the dude who played Michael Myers didn't get along. I still like to think it's because she hasn't had like a big hit in a while. She's fading into obscurity or something.
I'll bet you $5 that Todd McFarlane directed Spawn movie is gonna be 10 times better than this Venom movie.
Okay, let's wrap it up talking about that then.
In fact, I don't even like Hellboy, and I'll bet you that Hellboy movie is gonna be 10 times the movie this movie was.
I bet you it will be too. And I don't think. Here's the thing: watching this movie, given what it is, what the script is, my rule is if it's a script written by more than 2 people, I raise my eyebrows, which is weird because Spider-Man Homecoming is written by like 5 people.
Really?
Yes.
That is astonishing.
I know, because it's a great movie, but it's just like there's 9 people working on it or something. And directors,
yeah, man, they had to, but it's Disney people.
Yeah, and it's a Sony. It was a joint venture. Sony and Disney did it together. But like, also directors will like redo line sometimes in the heat of a scene just to see what happens. So the director is always like an unofficial writer. So whenever I see a movie like this by one company that's like 3 people or more, I'm always like, ugh. But yeah, let's talk about Todd McFarlane a little bit, and then we'll cut it off. What do you want to like Spawn? Why do you like Spawn? Because you like Spawn. I need to know why.
I like Spawn, all right.
I want you to make the case for Spawn.
Well, I saw that the Spawn movie, the '90s one, and the animated HBO series, like at way too young of an age.
Yeah, that was
I
done by
didn't
the
even-
same people who did Batman the animated series.
Yeah,
It's the same
and the animated
people.
series is dope. But
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a comic book until I was like in my, early teens. Like,
Yeah.
I just like it mostly because it's McFarlane and it's something outside of the big two.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that it's it's an African American character, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You know.
his face is horribly burned.
He's disfigured and that he's always covered in this bodysuit. I also like it because it's just kind of metal,
Yeah.
I grew up listening.
It's metal, but it's metal in the way that like Guar is metal.
That's true.
Not that there's anything wrong with Guar. I'm just saying. But
It's really dark, irreverent shit, man.
I would,
and,
if for a Spawn, given the very limited knowledge,
and
I have,
I'd never seen anything like that. It was just like nuts to me.
I could see iterations.
Plus, I
where-
love those capes. I love the way he draws chains and capes.
Fair enough. I am very interested to see if this movie, like, I'm very interested in the idea of like a stripped down Spawn movie, like where you take out some of the more crazy, outlandish superpowers. Like that's the thing about the other one. Like when he comes down through the ceiling and he's floating, and it's like he's got like almost superpowers. Like if we can strip it down to like a raid style movie, well, he has guns and stuff, but and maybe every once in a while you'll see like a cool demonic power or something where we can get it real stripped down. I think a Spawn movie could be dope if it's like handled.
What you're talking
Carefully.
about sounds like a Ghost Rider mishap waiting to happen.
No, because Ghost Rider's over the top. He goes down the side of a building and shit. Like I'm talking about like strip like the way Daredevil is kind of stripped down, like that, but for Spawn. Like I'm not saying you can't have any CGI capes or anything, but I'm just saying like the problem with that other one is it's so over the top. He goes to hell and fights a big CGI.
Well, it's so
demon and
90s
shit.
too. That's also part of its charm,
That's
I
true.
think.
We hadn't had movies like Blade.
It is a movie of its
Blade,
era.
Blade is the perfect example.
Sure.
So you take a character and you still have all the features of the character, but you don't let it get too over the top. And then like maybe you save like all your big, like what are his powers that he has aside from the cape, and he has a suit that's armored.
You could do like teleporty stuff, like
Cool.
ethereal stuff.
Yep. That could be dope. Like him teleporting around, cutting someone's head off. That'd be great. Yes.
That would be cool.
Show me you can make a web series, Todd McFarlane or something. It could be good. He's been
You know what I would want to see more than that, though?
No, but you're about to tell
I
me.
want to see a, you said web series. I would want to see like a TV version of Invincible, a la like the CW stuff, but like on an HBO level.
A la the CW stuff.
Like the Arrowverse junk,
Yeah.
but like done on like a higher scale, Netflix, Marvel, HBO level thing.
What does that mean? Because you're comparing two things. They feel like opposites to me, so I don't know what you mean.
Do it a serialized version of Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on the comic book, but on a big budget.
Sure. But isn't that what Daredevil kind of is? Like, so basically like that?
Sure.
Or are you saying you want it like a weekly episode kind of thing on network TV or whatever?
Well, I feel like a lot of that comic book lends itself to like, a teenagery, kind of serialized.
That's one half Spider-Man Homecoming and one half. Did you ever read the story called Superior?
No.
It's like R-rated Superman. It's like one
I've
half.
read Superior Spider-Man.
No,
That's a good run.
I believe that, but it's that. I've only read like 10 issues of Invincible, and I just recently purchased the next 2 volumes, so I'm actually
good for
gonna finish reading it.
I think you'll enjoy them.
But the limited stuff that I read is it's one half. I'm a teenager and a superhero, fun, and it's one half like horrible levels of violence and stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like
that dichotomy could work. Think of it like Riverdale meets fucking Game of Thrones.
yeah, or something like that.
Okay, that's what I could see Invincible, the TV series, being.
I feel like you'd have to give it a impressive budget though, because he has
Yeah.
superpowers. Like he can fly and shit, and has super strength.
His dad's pretty much Superman.
Yeah, so like, and there's the only thing I don't know that it works is because it's a comic book.
Be better than making a fucking Savage Dragon movie.
Sure. I don't know what Savage Dragon
It's
is.
another Image property.
I feel like the violence in the comic book is a little disarming, but I don't think you can do that in a movie or in any visual medium. So you'd have to let it get real dark.
That's why I'm saying do it like, 13 episode HBO series.
Sure. No, I agree with that. But like, there's parts of Invincible when I read it and like the comic book is so over the top that you're kind of like, that's just silly.
Well, that's also part of it. It's also like a third farce of comic books.
Yeah. And I feel like if you do that in a movie, I don't know how you could do that.
It would be tonally all over the fucking place and be discombobulated. You need it to be a slow burn, much like the comic is. Because even for comic book,
I agree with that.
That Invincible is a slow burn.
Yeah. Once you get to the violence, like you need to let it get like harsh. Like you need I have no other word for it. Like you need to let it get gruesome. Like think about the worst Walking Dead deaths you've ever seen. And you need to let it get like that. Because that's what it is.
Oh yeah.
But I do like the fact that Invincible.
Speaking of Walking Dead, like the show, I'm surprised they get away with that shit on TV.
Yeah, well, AMC goes in like, this is a viewer warning. This show features intense violence and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I just finished watching season 8. Like I took a break for like 2 years of watching it. I just binged it over 2 days. Wasn't that bad. I like the ending. It pulled the rug out from under me and not in like a shitty TV. This is the big thing at the end of the season.
See, I haven't really even watched it since like the 3rd season.
Yeah.
But my problem with what I've seen is that it's because I'm familiar with the runs of the comics, and I know that it's Carl's story, not fucking Rick's story. Carl's the one who becomes like a supreme badass and shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even worry about that. I went from loving that show to hating that show back to kind of liking it now. I kind of I watch it knowing all the stuff that's wrong with it. That like every season there's like, we hear about this place called Eden or something, like it's a 1-word title and it's supposed to be reminiscent of like something good, but there's something wrong under the surface of the good place and it's like they're cannibals or something, and then we have to escape in a big battle that's crazy, and then
It's formulaic.
and then they're stranded in the woods for 4 episodes. All separated, and then they come back together again to fight some other person. So it does that a lot, but this last season didn't really do that, and I kind of appreciated it. Both done by Robert Kirkman, which I feel like for people listening, why did they go from Invincible to Walking Dead? This is done by the same author.
Robert Kirkman's a shit, man.
He is good. There's if you ever want to watch a funny episode, to tie it back to the most important person on the podcast, Zack Snyder. He did a great.
You had to, didn't you?
He did an interview with him. Right before Man of Steel came out, and he was promoting The Walking Dead finally getting like 3rd season, and he kept bugging him about like Superman questions the entire time. It's really funny because they would ask, some person would ask him like, "Oh, what are your plans to bring in like the Saviors or Negan?" And he goes, "Well, I think that's a really good parallel to, are we going to see Zod in the Superman movie?" And he wouldn't even answer the kid's question. It's really funny. You should watch it.
I think. I'm sorry.
I was going to cut off the podcast.
Back to bringing it back to background, man. Venom. Go see it if you.
That's the exact way you probably should say it.
Yep.
Go see it if you want to see it. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's fine, but I feel like you're going to see the formula written in it.
Rob doesn't like to give numbered scores, but I'll go ahead and give it a numbered score.
It's a 5.
I'd even go a little higher than that.
Really?
I'd give it like a solid 6 point. Like I give it a solid 6.5 out of 10.
I guess if I have to give it, if 10 is the perfect movie and 1 is like worse than The Room, terrible, like I give it a 5. It's right in the.
I'm going out of 10 in the genre of comic book movies.
I still stick to my guns then.
All right.
It can by that scale.
Fair enough.
It's not bad. I feel like there is potential here. They just.
Rob's more smug than I am, so
I don't know if I am. I feel like this movie does not deserve visceral hatred the way some people have.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's like a whatever thing. It works.
It's entertaining at the very least.
Yeah, it works more than
it does its job of entertaining you, and that's about it.
Yeah.
However, Jamie Foxx gonna rock the socks off out of the Spawn movie.
I hope so. I didn't know that they had announced him for Spawn yet. That's a good choice.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who else you could pick.
I've been really liking.
If we see a trailer and the CGI cape looks bad, are you going to send me like an angry text? Like, this trailer
It's
is
not
bullshit.
angular. That is not a McFarlane cape.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're gonna outro us, Rob.
Yeah. So yeah, Venom, it's fine. This has been The Movie Date with Rob and Zach, a podcast for people who like movies but don't want to be too smug about it. I have been Rob.
And I've been Zach.
And listen to us on Podbean and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
YouTube.
And Zach, do you have anything you want to plug?
If you're in the Little Rock area, I will be doing a show. Oh, this isn't going up before then, so never mind.
Nothing to plug. I'm going to leave that in.
We need to start uploading these accordingly so I can plug stuff, Rob.
Okay. I'll get.
Oh, why don't you plug your?
I work at a place called. I work at several places, but I own a studio called Horizon Studios. If you want awesome production, mixing, and mastering skills by yours truly, contact me and I will do that if you give me money.
Or just come see me at the Joint Comedy Theater.
Yes.
Every Tuesday.
I was driving down the street the other day and I saw a chiropractic clinic called The Joint, and I was like, is that what he's talking about?
No.
Has it gotten so bad he's doing
Yes, I do.
open mics at a chiropractic clinic?
Comedy for chiropractors. Yep.
You're not real doctors.
We are there to hit your funny bone. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.